I got a story to tell you. So once upon a time, here's what happened. You raised your family, you worked at one place of employment your whole entire life, and then your kids moved out. You moved to a small little house, maybe a condo or apartment, probably in Florida. And what happened? You sold this bigger house, you took that money, you invested some of it, and you downsized. Well, for years I've written how that doesn't exist anymore. How what really happens is people right size. So they still do what I suggested, except the last difference is at the end of the day, they don't go to a smaller, cheaper home. They go to a equally priced home, or maybe they buy a place in Florida and the Jersey Shore, or Philly and Arizona. Point being, for years I've advocated and said people don't downsize. Occasionally, sure, but more realistic, people right size. They take their $500,000 house and they go buy a 55 plus brand new $500,000 house. Until recently, however. So I feel strongly about that statement because I've given financial plans to hundreds and thousands of people, and I just don't see it. However, recently, a really interesting trend has happened. Now I'm seeing more and more and more retirees or approaching retirees not downsize, not right size, but actually upsize. So these individuals, these retirees, are taking their $500,000 house, they're retiring, and it's actually becoming a $700,000 house, or that $700,000 house is becoming $1 million house. It's a really, really interesting trend that's happening. The question, of course, is why do we think this is happening? And is it a problem? And what do you do if you want to be one of these people? So let's talk about the reasons why, at least anecdotally from what I can see. First and foremost, we've had a nice run in the stock market. The 11 plus year bull market with a little blip last year. Big blip, but we rebounded nicely. And so people have more wealth. People invested in the markets have more wealth. And I believe that a lot of these people are turning around and saying, you know what? Let's use it on a house. Let's go to a bigger house and enjoy that. And now this will be a place for the grandkids to come swimming, or the grandkids will come to our beach place, or whatever have you. So I think that's one thing. Two is interest rates. Of course, that's a big thing here these days, even as they creeped up a little recently. They're still historically low, far from the double digits we saw in the 80s. And so when we start to get to this point where interest rates are this low, I think a lot of people are realizing that it's not to go much bigger, isn't that much more costly, especially if you amortize it over a 30-year time period. So I think that's a big thing. Next is FOMO, fear of missing out. So what I've seen is also, not the purpose of this blog or this video, is that a lot of younger people are buying houses that are more and more expensive, that are much more costly than I ever would have thought that someone making this income would be spending. Again, interest rates and these other factors are coming into play. So I think that you're seeing a lot of parents look at their kids who aren't as accomplished as they are, and they're buying $1 million homes left and right. In my first 20 years in business, it was rare to see anyone own $1 million home, no matter how successful you are. And now I'm seeing clients' children who are in their early 30s buying homes that are much more expensive than they ever considered. So I think you're seeing some FOMO there. I really do. Next is lifestyle. I think that what you've seen is lifestyle and COVID sort of hand in hand. So COVID has come into play. And of course, we spent more and more time at home and people are reprioritizing. And I also think that leads to lifestyle. We've had this paradoxical shift, I believe, in the psyche of Americans in the world, where people aren't maybe going to be as apt to travel, and people are realizing that life is truly short, as we've lost hundreds of thousands of people, and it's stricken home to me personally. And I think you're seeing people say, I'm not going to settle anymore. I'm going to live my best life. I'm going to spend more time at home, and hence I'm going to enjoy that time. And so I think those things are really what's driving this. So next, is it a problem? Can be. Certainly can be. Now, if you're planned and you work with someone or you've done some real analysis, chances are you can get through it. Chances are you're making a smart decision, especially if you're working with a professional who validates these things and makes sure we can support this increased lifestyle. But you want to make sure you go into it eyes wide open. You don't want to blindly just let these other factors drive you to say, yeah, of course I can do it. Because again, newer homes, bigger homes come generally with bigger price tags and bigger expenses just to upkeep. Not always, but generally speaking. So go into eyes wide open and be planned. Additionally, if you are maybe 50 or in your 40s and retirement is coming in the not too distant future, the best thing you can do is calibrate it in. Is this a trend for the past year or two and will continue forever? I'll certainly update you, let you know what I see. But where once you were planning on maybe downsizing or even right sizing, now calibrate potentially a more expensive home in your future. I'm seeing it. We're seeing it here at Diversified. And as long as you can plan for it in advance, the more time you have to plan, the more time you can have to make smart, informed, educated decisions. So that's it. The downsizing myth and the right sizing myth even. So hope you enjoyed this entry into my video blog. I'm Andrew Rosen, president of Diversified Lifelong Advisors. As always, stay wealthy, stay healthy, and stay happy. Take care.